Okay, so moving on now. You can see that I have used biro on all of my drawing, and then I've rubbed out all my pencil lines. I've put a lot more detail into the feather, and I've doubled up my lettering. I've got my text running around here. I've put a lot more detail into the boots. I've used quite a scribbly technique, I think, in the bird, a bit Abby Diamond style. And I've put a little bit more detail into the flowers. So now I'm ready to add a little bit of colour, maybe a little bit of collage as well. So I had this sheet which had all the houses on. I was thinking I could collage some sections maybe into the background, and I might do that first before I add any watercolour. So rather than trying to collage the whole background, I was thinking maybe just cut out a few feathery shapes. So I cut through a wavy line, and then maybe a few different feathery shapes to use. And then I should have another curvy line. I'll just neaten that up a bit, just to have some hints of this design, I think. It'd be really nice. Let's cut another one out there. So I could just think about where I want to place them, if I definitely want to have them in. But I was thinking maybe have one in here. Could have them even coming over the top of the boots there, or maybe going off the side at the top here, and just a little one at the bottom of this feather. Now I don't really want it going over the boots, I don't think, so if I just draw a line there, I'll just cut that bit out. So that can go off a little bit and not interrupt the boots. So I'll get those glued down really quickly. If you've got a glue stick, you can use that. Use a bit of scrap paper while you're gluing, so that you don't make a mess on your work. Get that one in. Not on the messy bit. This one in. So collage is a really great way to create some very quick impact, and to get some space filled, and to just make it a little bit more visually interesting, I think, as well. So just get those. So if you've got any scrap papers at home that you could use, would be great. Even an old envelope or a bit of newspaper with some text on it. Could even be about a news article about lockdown. Could be anything at all. Could be a poem that you want to collage sections in. So I'll just place that one on there. And I'll just snip that edge off. Press all those down nicely with a clean finger. Just going to rub out my smudgy bit a bit more here. Got a little bit of smudging up there. Okay, so I've got some Anna Linky watercolours. I'm very lucky, so I'm going to use a little bit of those. Any paint brushes will do. I'd probably go for your washes to have bigger paint brushes, especially in the background. Otherwise you'll be there for ages painting away, and you just need some colour hints really. So I was thinking of making this bird a little bit turquoisey colour. I think it's supposed to be a kingfisher, so I'm just going to first of all just add some water and just work with the water. I'm not going to worry about being too tight to my illustration. And then if you've got watercolour that you're using, you can then just drop it in straight into the water, and that will just help it spread out a little bit more. See that moving water, pigment moves through the water much more easily. Got a bit of the red there. If there's too much, you can easily just take it off. There we go. And I'm going to go with a little bit down behind this letter in here. Goes down in towards the feather. And then this one's got some nice orangey tones to it as well, so I'm going to go for a little bit of orange. And I've just gone with a big brush, really messy, not too much. If you make a mistake with the watercolour or coffee, whatever you're using, you just put some water on it and blot it with a little bit of tissue. I'm just going to put a few darker tints into there, even into the eye. Just to bring that forward and make it a real focal point, and really like brings the eye in there. And just keep rinsing your brush, otherwise you end up with everything everywhere. I'm going to do a very quick wash on the lilies. Again, put some water down, even behind some of this lettering. I don't think this pink is very good, it's a bit orangey, a bit reddish, but you can then just drop in the watercolour. And I'm working quite loosely, so it doesn't matter that I've just got a bit of brown on the brush there. I think there was a bit, oh no, it's a bit of green look, but just blend it in. And I'm working quite loosely and messily with this at the moment. It's up to you how you work. I'm going to bring that down there. A bit more water into here. And some nice brighter red, I think, in there. And then just more water so it nicely spreads out. Brings those petals a bit to life. A bit more red into the centre of this one, I think, as well. Put the red in, bit of water, blend it out there. And a little bit under here. So you can see, because my pen lines are nice, quite nice and neat anyway, my watercolour can be quite messy and sketchy and loose. You can even use a paintbrush for doing that. You can even use one of your makeup brushes if it's bigger. If you've got a makeup brush at home, if you're stealing someone else's, do ask first. Okay, so I can go for doing a little bit of work on my feather now. And again, I'm going to use some different colours. And I might not always put the water down first. Definitely want some purple in here. And if you want some stronger colours that are not so blended and that will dry a bit more quickly, then you can just put the watercolour straight onto the page. However, if you do want to blend them together, just put a bit of water down and it'll just pull those colours through, so you get a bit more of an ombre effect to it. So maybe some purples, maybe some purple in here. Bring that around. I think my feathers ended up looking a bit like a peacock feather. I could put really dark purple down, then just the wet brush, bring that along, like so. So oh, there's a little bit of paper on there. So I've got some purples. I think I need a bit more purple. There's a lot of purple at the top of the feather. I think maybe some purple further down as well. So I'm going to come down to here, put some purple in, clean water, and just blend that up and in. Clean my brush again. Bring that down. A bit more water. In. Obviously I can add some more colours in later. And can you see how I'm working a section here, then over there, then over there? So I'm trying to let these different sections dry just a little bit. Otherwise I'll end up with them all bleeding together. But you can get some really nice effects. I don't know whether you can see this bit here. It's got a bit of an effect on. So I'm going to carry on painting. I think I'll do a little bit on my boots now. Again, just water down first. I think I'm going to make my boots turquoise since my walking boots are actually turquoise, so I'm going to go with that colour again. Think about where the darkest areas would be, so at the back of the boots where there's a bit of shadow. Start there and then bring that out with some more water. And you don't have to cover everything with watercolour. Oh, that's nice. That's worked well. That's all looking like it's a little bit creased like my boots are. But you might want some areas darker, some areas lighter. And you can see from this, I'm not covering absolutely everything. So this boot is behind the other one, so I'm making everything a little bit darker so that the front boot stands out because it's lighter. Bit more in there. Clean brush. And you can see I've left like some little highlights in there. Don't need to cover absolutely everything. And then sole of the boot, I'm just going to put, I think, a little bit of black underneath there. Just lightly grey it out. Doesn't matter if the blue bleeds into it a bit. Then I'm going to put a bit of shadow underneath my boots, and I'm going to go with like a nice emeraldy green. And just use a bit of water to blend that out. And I'm going to bring that round over my name with some Limea green. I'm going to work around my collage carefully. Nice and neatly around that edge. And just using the water again just to fade those colours. Try not to go right up to the edge, otherwise everything will just mash up together. So I'm going to carry on and work a few more washes on this and just finish it off, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like finished.